Welcome back to the 2014 North American Collegiate Championship. It's time for Game 2 between the Blue Caster Minions and Sergio's Dream. And with one more win, Sergio's Dream from San Jose State University will take the first ever NACC title.
Yeah, and I like our intro music as well. That was a very aggressive game, Rib. 47 kills in a 32-minute game. RC Slash got a first pick Cassidy. He kind of made use of it pretty well. 12, 1, and 8 on Cassidy. But it was all started when Lock Tran gave him that first blood with a nice Nocturne gank.
We haven't seen a lot of Nocturne, I'd say at all.
It was good. He went Spirit of the Elder Lizard, which allows Nocturne to power farm without blue buff, thanks to that sweet mana return, something he never had access to in previous seasons.
And an early blue buff, double buff rather, to RC Slash kind of escalated.
There were a lot of double buffs in that game.
One guy had bubble buff trade game. Didn't even say it.
Passed it off again and again. Very entertaining game. I can hope for another one as aggressive as that. You can tell these teams have no reservations about initiating or going in quickly.
That's what I love. That's what we talked about before, is the collegiate leagues. These guys are hungry. They want to get into fights. We saw it almost at level 1. They just kind of waltzed by each other. They're like, whoa, this looks like a good idea. Actually, not. Okay.
Well, maybe.
We'll give each other
Always
space.
trying to find that little window to try and engage. I really was also impressed by Feng Shen, his support play.
That was
in
Leona's
the semifinals yesterday, even in the finals today, whether he's on Leona, whether he's on Thresh, finding the right moments to initiate, and also just laning really well. His synergy with Best in SJ is top of class.
You don't think a Lucian Thresh lane is going to beat a Vayne in lane.
Yeah.
Usually that Vayne gets knocked out of that in a second because of her range.
Yeah, the Vayne Leona lane having success was a pretty big turning point in that game. That lane should not have won based on the champion matchups, but I think just the fact that Best in SJ has played so much Vayne in the past, his execution of that champion, maxing W on Vayne, going for that attack speed build, very effective.
Well, we'll see what they have coming into this next game. I don't know. They probably won't ban out Vayne. Definitely getting a ban out on Cassidy.
There's a lot to ban.
Yeah, Cassidy
is the problem. Lee Sin, especially for Lock Tran, has been so effective. Cassidy, probably do that. The most important thing in these games, even if you have a lot of priorities, even if there's 10 champions you want to ban, my motto has always been, you ban the thing that beats you first and foremost. If you're going to lose twice, make sure you lose to 2 different things.
I like that.
Yep.
See what they can do. There's the Lulu, the Lee Sin. They want to see what's banned out first. Maybe they can play some kind of trick to get themselves the Cassidy and cause SGD to have to ban that on the blue side, or red side rather. Still waiting on a few more. This game's definitely more discussion on the bans. They went back much faster last time. We saw Pantheons coming out along with that Lee Sin.
Well, they had the whole day to plan bans for the first game. Ooh. Was that a misclick? What's Graves next to on the champion? Seriously, I'm real confused right now on why they would ban Graves.
He is next to Heimer.
I'll be back in a second. I'm trying to find where he is. Garen Graves. Hecarim, Gragas, Elise, maybe? They were trying to ban Elise and they clicked too low? I don't know what happened. Unless that is literally just a throwaway ban because they're trying to get a specific first pick.
I don't know. Well, it's always, if something's locked in, you have to communicate it to the ref if it's a mistake before the next thing is locked in. So they didn't do anything. They didn't move themselves. They weren't in any kind of chaotic rush. So that's a ban there. Thresh as well. Cassidy, the last one. And the Kazakhs coming out. We still stick with the Ks.
Yep. So Timo wasn't banned. Kazakhs wasn't banned. I think we're going to see a Timo. He would get eaten a little bit by Kazakhs.
He would. It's hard for a Kazakh to get around once you got enough mushrooms down, though.
It is. It is. I still think it's fearful. They wouldn't have to pick the Timo now. They can wait until they see what the rest of Blue Caster Minions team is. Timo, not necessarily that good against assassins, per se. He's better dealing with the big bruisers that try and walk towards them.
And I believe Gragas would have been Sergio's, or I'm sorry, Blue Caster Minions' last game. It's first picked here by SGD. So they wanted that Gragas up for RC Slash. His
Gragas was fantastic yesterday as well.
Bucktran picking up the Leona, so they're not showing anything that's coming out of the jungle with that Thresh band. We saw Feng Shen on that Leona just a second ago. Anything he can throw out as a hook or a Zenith Blade, you don't want to be in front of it. So they get a good pick up there.
Wonder if we're going to see some Alistair support. That would be nice. Alistair takes a lot of practice.
Yeah.
But if you're going to bring him out,
you
bring him out against Leona. Hey, doesn't have to worry about Kassadin. His Zed mechanics are clearly very good. RC Slash is a Xerath player.
That'd be
That
really
could be
cool.
a real thing.
Not going to say no. Want it.
Not to mention, Xerath has that armor. Remember, we're on the 4.1 patch. It's old Xerath. Not that new hotness people are playing with on live servers. It's the old guy.
Not that all across
This could be
the
the
map
last
jargon.
Xerath we, of this age. Could maybe lock down the collegiate championship for Sergio's dream. Do it. No. Go back.
So that would be the Croc and Vayne again here for SGD if they decide to lock it in.
It would be a pretty good choice. Jakiro showed how dominating he was on Renekton.
Yeah.
You don't
He
really
did.
pick things to beat Renekton in lane. They could just look to control at this point. RC Slash could bully lane with Gragas, they could bully lane with Renekton, and just because of Bastion SJ's Vayne mechanics, they could bully all 3 lanes, which would put Blue Caster minions in a really difficult spot.
He knows the crowd wanted to pick Teemo. He gave a little smile there. He probably had all his friends telling him, you better pick that.
Yeah.
We'll see what BCM has. Yeah.
Better do it.
Lucian going to be picked out. They tried it last time, but it was the Thresh that they had to ban out this time. So Annie's still up to be had.
Yeah.
Oh!
All right. One thing about these guys is they don't necessarily have the most built-out champion pools. They will stick to what they know. They're not necessarily as diverse as the pros. So that's why we see things like Evertan going to Zed again and again, going back to that well, going with the Blitzcrank, even though it can be a really bad idea to pull in a Leona or Renekton.
Yeah.
If he pulls in a Vayne, it's great.
You know, I miss this kind of stuff when
Yeah.
Daydreaming would go to his hooks and they'd bring it all mid lane and you'd have Blitz mid just pulling your boss left and right. This is obviously going to stay in the bottom lane, but
Probably gonna see-
Blitzcrank had his time and should be brought back.
Yeah, high-impact hooks.
Yeah.
Probably a Nocturne in the jungle here for Loctran. If we're going to go with the trend of them picking the stuff they won with last game,
Yeah, more than the jungle.
they could have nearly an identical team comp. Just instead of Kassadin, they have Kassadin 0.8 or whatever you'd want to call Gragas. He's not 2.0, but he has very similar characteristics with how he plays. Yeah, there's a Nocturne. 4 out of 5 of their old team, and a very similar mid laner in Gragas, able to roam around.
Simple.
All right.
I've said it a lot, but I'm going to say it again. If it's not broke, don't fix it. Like you said, 4 out of the 5 that they had just used in a pretty definitive win. It was very methodical, a little crazy with the kills, but once they got the turrets down in their favor, they easily got into the base and they easily ended that game.
Yeah.
So we'll see if SGD here, they have the Gragas. They went for Baron last time and were able to get it. And with that Gragas, they have a little bit of cover. Being on the right side with him, they can get a good steal in. So everything's going to work out late game for them if they keep the lanes solid again.
Well, Vayne is the guy who's going to work out late game. Surprisingly, if you don't play Gragas perfectly, he actually falls off pretty hard late game. You got to be able to land your spells.
Not in comparison. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, one thing
Yeah,
that
yeah.
we never touched on is Kenny Yu's top lane Kha'Zix is actually a really big, difficult pick in this situation. He plays a lot of top lane Kha'Zix, but against Renekton, it's really hard to get going. Kha'Zix thrives off of fighting squishies, and Renekton is never going to be squishy. So it's hard for him to find fights.
Yeah, you just got to keep the game going and hope he turns into a big meat shield that you can eventually take down.
Yeah.
If the fights go long enough, and you can stay away from his death.
Or if they have as many fights as they had last time. Another 47-kill game in 32 minutes would be perfect for a top lane Kha'Zix.
He would love it. There's a lot of resets and possibly a Kha'Zix call-out to be had there. If you can get enough kills in.
He'd have to evolve his W.
He would.
Yeah.
Go for we've seen a lot of Kha'Zix on the isolated queues going for objectives, trying to tear down Dragon early.
Yeah, it's interesting. The top lane Kha'Zix would have a fear of Baron going down fairly early on in the game. Especially when you consider going with Elise. Just those two, because they can tank with Spiderlings, have a lot of % health damage, have a constant threat on sneaking Barons. So if there's a point in this game where, Blue Caster Minions is really up against it, look for Baron steal.
Fired up and ready to go, says Harrimer. They make their way onto the Rift. We're seeing a Blitzcrank in this one with a Kha'Zix in the top lane as BCM tries to pull out a bit different of a strategy besides that Evertan on Zed. See what they have. We said SGD's using 4 out of the 5 from their same composition last game, just without Kassadin in mid. We have that Gragas for RC Slash. We saw an invasion coming in here from BCM. Yeah, and the invasion could be pretty big impact here if they get a grab that they want. But unknown to them, they're on the wrong side of the map.
Yeah, I would have actually expected Kevin to start with the ward on Elise, because with Blitzcrank, he's one of the guys who you can get early game buff control with. And Elise is one of the junglers who can sustain so well that she doesn't necessarily need 5 health potions. Now they're going to have to wait until all their health potions are up. Or, sorry, until their trinket wards are recharged in order to get some deep wards down.
And how scary of a game does it become if you fall behind having 2 assassin champions like Zed and Kha'Zix on your team?
Pretty much death. You do not want to fall behind when you're running 2 assassins. At that point, all of the eggs or all of the weight falls on Blitzcrank. And
to make super hooks?
Has to hook squishies at the start of every fight, otherwise they would have no chance. So they're going to do a red buff steal. It's interesting that Sergio's Dream had to be so scared of the Blitzcrank that they have gained no intel on the start of this. So there's actually a really good chance that Kevin will successfully steal this red and then cycle down to his red and control 3 of the 4 buffs at level 1, which could slow down Lock Tran.
Seen the odd one do this one time. He ran right straight down through the minion wave in middle to go stop somebody from grabbing his red.
It's been a good day up until this point, too.
Yeah.
This is the...
And now a pause.
I believe this is the first pause we've had all weekend.
Yeah.
Yeah, so...
Absolutely.
Really solid work so far by the QA team. Everything going strong, but a small mishap right here. Looks like we got Evertan with a little bit of a problem there on his machine. Get that fixed up just right there. They're in a bit of a high-pressure situation, I'd say, right now.
Yeah, they really want to get their fingers moving again. This is a little bit of time to think of what they're going to be doing in lane. Obviously not discussing it because they can't share information with each other, only what's on the map in front of them. But it's going to be interesting. Not getting something in the early game is really going to play on their mentality. If they can get first blood, it's going to obviously feel really great, but more so than often because they are down a game right now. They really need that momentum.
Yeah, and these are pretty bloody games. So getting one guy who's ahead, they haven't necessarily shown that they can avoid a fed person.
Yeah.
The fed person just keeps finding fights over and over again. There's definitely a lot of snowball potential from both of these teams, since they are, not quite as refined as a pro team. They have a lot of individual skill. I mean, those moves between RxC Slash and Evertan in the last game, Casted and Zed, were very impressive juke fests, but then there was just insanity afterwards.
Yeah, you can see where it comes out that these guys are high-level solo queue players. Their individual skill,
and solo queue.
Right? Their individual skill really shines when they get put in that 1v1, and then you see the fights come together, and the communication, it dribbles off here or there. But if it's a little bit in your favor, we saw the Kassadin rifting in, like you said, the grouped-up fights. Everything kind of starts to go.
Just giant explosions. Gragas has a few giant explosions in this game. The area of effect damage from Blue Caster minions isn't necessarily that impressive. So they're going to have to get those Blitzcrank picks. It's a very pick-oriented team composition that the guys from Washington have put together.
Well, like we said, they're going to be in a dangerous, dangerous situation if they can't get both of those assassins going quite well. One can carry the other a little bit, but that's a two-team work right there. SJ taking some. Oh, they're already going for
Wide
early
left.
grabs in that lane. Yeah. Sun in his eyes. He'll be all right. Gonna miss the first few.
So if you guys are wondering what's going on here, there's this very rare particle bug where sometimes like a minion auto attack will be broken. You get this like little blue boxes flying towards things, and it requires a client restart. That's actually what happened with Evertan just now. I'm not sure what's happening with same exact thing.
Yeah,
I've just been
points
told.
down.
So shouldn't be long, and we'll be in a smooth game here. Jakiro having some issues there.
Get that fixed up right quick. Should only take a minute. We're going to see what Jakiro has going back on Renekton this game. Everybody kind of wanted to see the Teemo again, but it was a solid Renekton play. And it was interesting that he was going up against Can use Mundo with Ignite, not Teleport.
Yeah.
It kind of shut down a little bit of the factor where Renekton pushes that lane out completely because he's like, I can't dive. You do have Ignite. But it also didn't allow them to use Mundo, BCM side.
And Jakiro would have loved to play Teemo this game. But there was a first pick Kha'Zix on the other team.
Yeah.
And he would have been food for Kha'Zix this entire game.
I can just see it, though. He sets up all these mushrooms around him, and he's just like, I'm here.
Just waits for Kha'Zix to jump in. He jumps in the middle, kills him, jumps out. You're like, oh, he got me again.
Doesn't get hit by one mushroom.
Yeah.
Just the situation that would go down.
Yeah.
That's what would happen to me. Set up a bunch of mushrooms, and it just, didn't play it correctly. So as we wait for these guys to get set up, we got to remember they're playing for quite a bit of money. They've gone through 500 teams to get here, and there's something that's amazed me.
Monstrous tournament.
Been in esports for over 14 years now, and it was always easier for the single-player sports. You know, you play a one-on-one, you have a sponsor, you have a team, but for 5 people to do this, and then 500 teams to stay together, the organization that had to be done through this is absolutely amazing, and huge credit to both the leagues, the colleges, everything.
Yeah, getting a team together is one of the best experiences you can have playing League of Legends. It's just so hard to find 5 people. When you do find a group of 5 people, you'll never have more fun than that. Absolutely.
We're going to see what happens. Looks like SGD trying to make it one more win to capitalize on a lot of that fun here. And they'd be picking up a pretty big win for
they're
themselves.
Collapsing on the jungle invade. Locktran, look out!
Oh, no. He does have a flash to get over that wall. It's going to be hit up quite hard here. He flashes that the Dragon's there. The Ignite is on. And it's a Q over the shoulder of Evertan. Arxie Slash gets pulled in here. He's level 2. His flash is up, and he makes it over the wall.
That's the level 1 from Blitzcrank. Paying dividends right there. Locktran expected the invade at his red, but he was too brute force going in for the steal. He got spotted coming across. Kevin went red to red, so they're able to collapse down on him. And he loses his blue buff early on, and now he has no red buff to go back to. He's going to be down for a while because of that, which means the lane pressure from Sergio's Dreams is going to be non-existent aside from the laners themselves.
Yeah, Z-Slash's flash, Locktran's flash. Not too much engagement is going to be coming from that lane that we saw doing big things last time for a good 5 minutes. Kenny, you in the top, getting pushed in by Renekton. What else would we be seeing in a lane like that with a Renekton? Kevin now onto his blue buff, going to get level 3 off of that and happily be back into his jungle. Not much to gank now with everybody being so scared.
Yeah. Kevin needs to have a better game this game.
Yeah.
He is now in a position to make a difference because Locktran has fallen behind. He's lost his buffs, and Sergio's Dreams have picked really strong lanes that will not be getting jungle assistance. So Kevin, if he finds the right moments to go in, can turn the tide in these lanes without fear of a jungler counter gank. This is his moment to shine on Elise.
If he can keep on track, he'll hit 6 easily before Locktran right now, and then he would definitely be able to counteract a lot of those ganks coming in from Nocturne's Paranoia. A little bit of vision here by Jakiro. He gets a slice to safety, dodges out the cocoon very nicely.
0 for 1.
Yeah.
He's got to do better next time. Wide shot on that cocoon, and now Locktran coming in, buffless level 3 game.
Z-Slash, good damage. Got the body slam down. Horrific. Horror.
Yeah.
Unspeakable
the
horror.
What? The unspeakable horror.
That's what it is. Not horrific horror.
Round 2. Wide right.
Wide right this time. Can't get it in the strike zone just yet. That's a good rebound.
You can see with the damage that burst out there. If that stun would have landed, there was a good chance they finish him off there. Kenny would have had his Ignite as well. So at least he's pushing him off right there. Kenny has no business being up 31 CS to 21 if he does not get the jungle help from Kevin there.
And he's got so much to work with right now, especially seeing Locktran in mid there. He has flashes down in mid and top. I can see the reason to keep going after Jakiro and what he did last game, but they can work with so much here.
Yeah, I think they're really hoping that Kha'Zix, more so than anyone else, gets ahead.
Yeah, that's good.
Zed can handle himself against Gragas
in
lane. Early on, he can definitely farm with the best of them. It's Kha'Zix that needs the help, and they might be looking for a turret dive. Locktran going to try and counter. Oh, no flash.
Good dive left. They're kind of cycling in the aggro left and right. It's going to be a hit up. Can Kevin get out in time? Oh, he will lose the buffs on that one. Only the blue. The red actually just ticked off, but good kill.
Yeah. So he doesn't have to transfer it down.
Yeah.
Giving the kill back to Renekton gives him enough gold for Chain Vest, however. Going to make it a little bit difficult for Kenny to really put aggression down on the lane. And the fact that the lane was pushed up while they didn't get a clean kill means Locktran can get experience back in that lane as well.
And look at Evertan. He sees Locktran in the top lane, soaking up that experience, and goes in for a little bit of damage of his own.
The Arxie Slash doing a bit of survival. It's a big item differential right here because Evertan has that first blood gold. He can finish his Vamp Scepter and his Longsword really early there, and he's using it to bully.
You can see what the priority of these players kind of happens. We saw Pobelter on Zed in mid lane pick up. Oh, the grab, the long range onto SJ, but a great focus. But both supports onto the AD carries. Now the ADs have to refocus this. Oh, going in hard. He gets the pop-up from the Power Fist. They could be going on to Feng Shen here. They got to be careful.
Power of Blitz hooking the right target, burning through the exhaust and the barrier.
He's making it work.
Big play, yeah. The lane was pretty much even up until then.
Ooh.
Just a minion.
What could have happened? They had Kevin right
for
there.
the backup.
Whoa! Oh, but they still have Kevin! Wow, Feng Shen saying what? 2v1? Let's go. Oh, 3? That's not good. Hits the cocoon. They're going to get the power fist up possibly. No. Harrimer's power fist is down. He flashes for it as it comes up, and they finalize the kill onto Feng Shen.
That was a mistake by Feng Shen to go in. He did not have backup, and he burned his summoners as well as dying. Also want to note, Harrimer is maxing his hook on Blitzcrank, so not only will he be pulling people in.
A level 4 SJ.
Can he get another one? No.
Ooh.
Yeah.
He is not having fun in this lane. Definitely not the same lane that happened last time.
Absolutely not.
They are taking down Vayne a lot harder, and SJ is down in farm this time. They're going to go ahead, transfer off the blue buff over to RXC Slash. Gets his slam back over the walls. They both level up on that. So we got level 6s now to come from him. But Tran's out of mana, so they may not get a gank out of this.
Yeah, and right now Sergio's Dream has to play from behind. Locktran did hit level 6 on Nocturne thanks to all that lane experience, and they're going to look. He doesn't have mana, though.
Yeah.
That's the saddest Nocturne gank I've seen in a while.
It's all right. He tried.
You need mana.
You do need
He's an
mana.
expensive champion.
It's pretty helpful.
Yeah.
8 minutes in the game. It's 4-1. We're still getting a good amount of kills in here. A lot of that participation has come from Alliance. That
Dragon.
one we saw.
Good time to go for Dragon, actually.
Indeed time for Dragon. Good call.
Yeah, basically they, even though it was a sad-looking Nocturne ultimate, they recognized how low Blue Caster minions were.
Yeah.
And they just straight up mobbed that Dragon. Very important gold for them to pick up here.
Hey man, seeing a Nightmare is pretty scary walking at you. You're going to gain them a Dragon, and that's going to be still down in gold here for SGD. So something they needed pretty big. No core items being finished up just yet. That Bloodthirster is very close, though, with the 2-0-1 on Alliance. We'll see if they can really start to shut down SJ, because he's Vayne. He'll be there in the late game.
Yeah, I really do have to point out again, though, how big Kenny U's CS is over Jakiro right now.
Yeah.
Thanks to Kevin's camping of that top lane. Once they shut Locktran down, he was free to choose where he goes, and he picked the Kha'Zix over the Renekton. Jakiro needs to win lane heavy on Renekton in order to have an impact on the game, and he is losing pretty badly right now, which is about the worst thing and the worst feeling on Renekton.
We always hear that Renekton's the aggressor in the early part of the game, and then he falls off, but if you can't get much, then you're just going to fall off. And right now, Harrimer and Alliance are trying to make the same thing happen in the bottom lane. That was very lightning fast on the grab. Jakiro in and out with the slice and dice. He's trying to get that damage in when he's got 50% of that rage up just to get the harass onto Kenny. And again, Kevin just on the backside.
They want to dive him right here. They got 4 points in his evolved Q with a pickaxe and a Doran's Blade, which means Kenny's isolation does a bunch of damage. Could be a bit of a prediction, though, from Jakiro and Locktran. If they could somehow bait the dive, the counter gank from Nocturne would be good. But if they don't bait the dive, they're going to get shredded right now.
This would be pretty great. That Golem Spirit is finished out onto Locktran. He's got a good amount of HP, and you can see the health bars are winning this fight over the attacks that even need to be done. SGD is happily sitting in this fray, and it looks like they're going to win that just on brute force.
Yeah, Renekton ultimate, and the fact that Nocturne and Renekton stayed together stopped the isolation. He can't detonate it if he's stunned.
Oh.
Ooh. Really good that he landed that cocoon. Otherwise, he was dead.
A body slam and a cast through the wall is what he would have found. The death mark goes down, but he used all of his damage before the death mark.
Yes. Should have waited a little bit longer for his skills to be up on the next recharge and then ulted. But nevertheless, trades ult for ult, and he gets to push up the lane right there.
Ooh, overdrive. Harrimer. It's kind of like Leona and Blitzcrank both have a way to initiate that they're coming in on you. You see the shield pop up on Leona and Blitzcrank overdrive.
Well, the way this matchup is working actually is Feng Shen's trying to walk into a Blitzcrank hook because that will be the initiation for her, and then she can use even more to close on the AD carry.
Yep.
Game of cat and mouse right there.
Well, it's been played very well by Alliance, not letting SGD get any of the cheese. They're going to stay strong. 7 and 6 in that lane, and I believe it's still SJ being down a level, but they're equal pretty much because the supports are 7. 11 minutes, 20 seconds on this, 15.5 to 13, coming up on 14,000 gold. BCM's not really able to extend this lead too much. They're just kind of holding steady.
Yeah, well, remember, the lanes are actually very strong for Sergio's Dream. They just fell behind early, and they haven't had jungle help necessarily. Locktran tried a few times, still sitting on the Nocturne ultimate, though. This would be a dangerous play in the bottom lane. It looks like that's where Locktran's headed. Kevin trying the art of counter ganks.
Oh, patience is a virtue, and it looks like it's going to be a kill on Vayne as well, possibly a double kill. Who are they going to give this one to? Kevin had his eyes closed on that.
Ooh, Locktran also popped his ultimate despite not being in range, so that Nocturne threat is down for the next 3 minutes. Push coming in. That was helped, mainly though, finished by the Blitzcrank hook.
Ooh. Ultimate almost off for Evertan. But it looks like he's going to push RxD Slash out of lane before he has the chance. Bottom lane's getting some love from the culling. And a good dive here from Harrimer. He's very low on mana, so his passive is not going to offer him much if he gets hit up by the turret. The shots coming in are good, and Harrimer's going to be backing out now. That's going to be one more hit, and he does go down. They start trading kills at the double, however, for Alliance.
4-0-2 on Lucian against a 0-2 Vayne is now the matchup in that lane.
That's what should have happened last game.
That's how Lucian matchup is supposed to go against Vayne, but they needed the Blitzcrank to put him over the edge. Support's winning lane.
Taking a few shots from the turret. Kenny getting a little antsy under the turret with that Tiamat AoE damage. So he's got to be careful here.
He's able to push up fearlessly at the moment. He knows there's no threat from Nocturne. The ultimate was burned, and Nocturne also just died in the bot lane. He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah, it's definitely in BCM's favor that they've gotten under the skin of SGG so fast. They don't have to get any crazy wards in to figure out where Locktran's coming from. A lot of his ganks, like we said, have been lackluster, and that's really helping BCM take initiation into most of these. A little bit of roam from Evertan to steal away the Wraiths, as he knows RxD Slash is off doing blue.
Yes, Sergio's Dream in a lot of trouble right now. Maybe they had the thought of, hey, we got a third game. Not necessarily need to take this one perfectly well. They went with pretty much the same team comp as well. Whereas Blue Caster Minions did a lot of switching up. Blitzcrank new, Elise new, Kha'Zix new from this game, and it's really showing well. From the early game plans, the counter jungling worked quite well. And Locktran really trying to help up bottom lane. This is kind of what Kenny did last game. A bunch of unsuccessful ganks bottom. This one, it will be a bit of a temporary 3v2. Elise is near.
That was awesomely timed. They just placed that pink ward and cleared it out, but the counter's also there from Kevin. I don't think they expected that one. Best in SJ trying to do what he can in the front line. He gets cocooned as he's too far up on the front line, and Kevin takes advantage.
Another death for Vayne right there. Interesting counter jungling dance as Evertan pushes back Gragas as well. That whole side of the map is just sweeping control for Blue Caster Minions.
Really working a lot better for Kevin this time in those ganks. He's had a great effect up top to helping iKennyU, and now in the bottom lane, he is just getting Alliance fed on a silver platter. They're going to be taking down the turret. Dragon will be ready for them to take as well.
Cascading advantages right now. We're saying these guys because they fight so often, and the last game was so crazy, they're not the best at avoiding fights. So that means Blue Caster Minions
so much. There's another scuffle right there. Nobody really wanted a full bout, so they back off. We'll see the gloves come off in a few minutes.
We're only 50 minutes in. We got a 6,000 gold lead. This game is getting out of hand very quickly.
Especially for what SGD did to Blue Caster Minions in the first game. We're kind of seeing the flip side of that.
Yeah, we're seeing an even more one-sided game in this direction. The last game was actually pretty close with a couple swinging fights. This one, especially with the heavy laning composition picked by Sergio's Dream, just never getting their feet under them. Kenny with the Tiamat can just shove out Renekton as quickly as possible. He's strong enough that Renekton doesn't want to fight him. And that's the least effective lane for Blue Caster Minions right now. So
it's like Feng Shen's trying to get his roam on. We saw him doing some work in mid lane, but now it's to the top lane here as we're 15 minutes in. That bottom lane has been broken for them on the side of SGD, so they're trying to move their power around and utilize it somewhere else here, possibly on iKennyU.
Maybe a bit of a counter gank right here. They're going to try to get KennyU. They got people in the brush.
They're going to lock him down. Nocturne coming out from the side. That's going to be very nice. And they're now on to Kevin. The double buff. They are looking at that very hungrily, and they're not going to actually get it from the rotation they're afraid of.
They used all their initiation on the Kha'Zix, which was a good kill.
Yeah.
But they want more. They can't get it. What is this about Blue Caster Minions? Game 2. Game 1 yesterday, they lost badly. Games 2 and 3, they won. They've already been here, done that. Lose the first game, win the next 2. That's the plan right now for them. First ever unified championship. Is that pink ward bait really going to work? Put a pink ward in the middle of the lane. Just wait for them to come.
They'll be safe. See Evertan putting a little bit of pressure in mid. But yeah, like you were saying, first ever unified legit championship.
Finally get the bragging rights for best college team NA, best college club.
See what can happen. Sergio's dream doing what they can to get the win for themselves. The Blue Caster Minions. Yes, they did recently change their name, but they're still fighting hard, still pretty much the same team, and they're trying to take this game to bring it to a Game 3. SGD now at game point, if they can just extend this one out a little bit more and pull it in their lead, because
still early game.
Yeah, still early game. They're behind right now. Nothing like we saw in the first game. A little bit of a battle here. Loctran coming up on the side as well. Kenny Yu's going to color all over top lane now, and he's safe.
Got caught by the Dusk Trail, didn't matter.
Nope.
It's pretty far away. Didn't want to overcommit. Evertan showing off a bit on Zed right here. He's been pushing RxC/'s Gragas this whole time. But honestly, so much of the lane advantages that have been gained by Blue Caster Minions from the University of Washington is just based on the fact that Loctran has been shut down. Nocturne has almost no presence, and Kevin's been able to go where he wants.
Whoa, whoa, Kevin. Going a little crazy there. He wanted all of that on RxC/, but it looks like he was told off by Evertan. He said, not yet. Not yet, young one. We will wait. So bottom lane and top lane feeling a little bit of pressure here from BCM. They've really been on SGG's side of the map the entire time, giving him hell.
Yeah, there's not much they can push back either. Nocturne has went full tank this time because he's been behind, meaning those ganks are having almost no punch once he gets there. The damage is actually extremely lackluster all across Sergio's dream right now. You add to the fact that Gragas had to go Seeker's Arm Guard to withstand Zed, means his death cap was delayed.
Yeah.
Therefore, he's not hitting that hard on Gragas either.
A lot has been delayed for RxC/. We haven't seen him doing too much roaming. He's been in the jungle when they were close to him in the dragon fights, but it's not his Kassadin. He's obviously not on teleport. Evertan finding a little bit of love here from Loctran, but he gets the Death Mark. Death Mark's going to be spell shielded nicely, and there's no damage there. Cuts back to the ultimate, and he's good to go.
Woo! Slipper move.
He got 6 seconds to do it.
Shadows.
He knows his time.
Yeah, he bought the Death Mark. Didn't matter. A lot of people are like, oh, he's trying to break the fear. Yes, that's part of it. The fear sticks through.
Yeah.
But it was mainly about setting the clone down so he can hop back later.
1-2 fight here. Another unspeakable horror goes into the brain of Loctran. He does not want the nightmares. Kenny Yu coming in now. He's got Kevin on the backside. Dustbringer's not going to do too much to deter them from the kill. There's the power fist. That was nice. He did a twirl in the air.
Yeah, poor Jakiro. He felt really tanky, but there were too many guys with too much % health damage that could bring him down. Elise and Kassic's just eating him alive.
Not something I really could have expected to happen this game.
Loctran.
Completely going the other way.
Bad. Look out.
Great, good golems, good blocking there.
Get hidden.
In the bush, out of the bush.
Spell shield.
Oh, there it is. He gets it. Gets the laugh from Nocturne. Kenny's taking a few shots. A little bit of distracting here allows them to take that turret down, the bottom turret.
Pretty good escape by Loctran. Got to give him credit for that one. Doesn't give the team much, though. We're still down about 8,000 gold, losing pressure on all edges of the map. Dragging in about 40 seconds, going to be pretty impossible for them to contest as well.
Yep, you can see Evertan having a bit better of a game, is going for that last Whisper build after his Blade of the Rune King. Doesn't have to go for the Black Cleaver this time.
Not at all at this point. He might even go Black Cleaver later, but last Whisper first. Be selfish. They have an all AD composition as well. We're going to get a Cleaver out of either Zed or Kha'Zix at some point. They got all the time in the world because the item differential is massive.
7 seconds on Dragon seems nice, but it looks like they would have wanted to take somebody out or get a flash before it. Looks like they're still going to be able to get that Dragon without any problem. Losing top turret here. Oh no, Kenny makes himself apparent. Looks like they are going to get this nicely. So BCM picks up this Dragon. Be very careful coming in. Loctran a little out of position here. Got the power fist up for the spell shield, and they grab him back. They scared him into using it, and they're going to get a kill out of it possibly. Alliance, no mana, no. He had enough to dash forward. They pick up the kill.
Good patience there by Blitzcrank to wait out the spell shield from Loctran. Finish off Nocturne. Been the complete opposite game, really, for both these guys. Especially for Loctran. He had so much impact last game, and he has just been bullied all around the map right from the very start. His failed invade really just backfiring horribly.
Well, it started to blow up with the gank in the mid lane last game. Luctran and Arc Z Slash. And with Nocturne having a late 6, they really couldn't gain any ground.
No.
38,000 to 27,000. 5 turrets right now for BCM, so they are making quick work of this game for sure.
It's amazing, actually, that the Kha'Zix was first picked, and then they still rotated down and got Elise again. Oftentimes, Elise is kind of a first pick. We'll take another look at this one.
Is it his ult that popped it?
Well, no.
No, he got to hit it.
Yeah, what ended up happening is Loctran was trying to wage Spell Shield for the Power Fist.
Yeah.
But Blitzcrank actually ran up, didn't even use his Power Fist, baited the Spell Shield out,
Yeah.
then just waited for that 1.5 second duration of Nocturne Spell Shield and hit him with the Power. And, well, the Rocket Grab.
I'm glad we replayed it.
Power.
Because I was wondering if it was one of his static shocks, and I didn't catch it. But no, just wore
I want Daydreaming to play Blitzcrank again.
Right? Those pulls, man.
The best champion. Blitzcrank is still good in the right situation.
I remember when Blitzcrank was getting the Cassidon treatment in bans, like every game, every single game. Now nobody knows about him. He's becoming a Mumu. 10-3 score sheet, definitely in favor of kills for BCM. The Blue Caster minions putting themselves to work this game. 200 farm onto Alliance, having a very good game. And actually 3 members have broken 200 farm on BCM. You're looking 20 minions before you do that on Arc Z Slash.
Yes, yes, and yes. Everything going.
Mounds ahead.
There's that 2-man Baron that we thought might happen.
Yeah.
They fall behind. They're doing it while ahead.
Oh, Everton.
This could be bad, actually. They are on a ward. They didn't clean this first, and Gragas does have his ultimate. They're going to have to fall back.
They're sending Alliance down to the bottom turret as well. They could get an inhibitor here.
They're just going to try to take it.
Yep, if BCM can mess with this
3v5
enough.
as well.
Here's the pressure now. They see Alliance on the bottom turret. They're saying, do we do it? Can we do it?
They can. Look how low it is.
Yeah.
It has to be a steal attempt. At least we'd have to do something miraculous.
They kept it low. The fight starts. It's actually going to be Kevin and Trandon at the same time. No, it goes to Luctran. SGD is able to pick up the Baron. 1-2 kills now. They are going to have Alliance and Harrimer to start finding, but Alliance is already on the base, and he's going to be getting an inhibitor.
Wow. So what just happened was a total mismanagement of resources by Blue Caster minions and a good opportunity by Sergio's Dream to come in there. As the 2-man Baron happening, the worst thing that could happen is Evertan getting caught. Yeah, he's fine.
What a jokester.
But look at how far behind Sergio's Dream really was. Sure, they have Baron buff. They just got 3 kills and a Baron. They're still down 9,000 gold. At the very least, this Baron's going to pause the game. Let's take a look at this. Nice spell shield blocked by Loctran. The big thing here is that the Baron was still very low from Blue Caster minions' damage on it, and they never let it reset, so they're going to finish it as quickly as possible because the Lucian is split pushing that entire time. They tried to finish off Gragas, you know, to make the steal a possibility, and at least tried his damn best to get it, but it was a smite ward. And Loctran ended up winning that, so 50-50. Finally, something goes Loctran's way.
He has been having quite a tough game compared to last. He's going full tank on this one as he did as well last game. 2-3-2 to 2-2-6. Everybody has been really impacting these fights on both teams. High kill participation across the board. There's really no one name to call out right now on both teams. They're feeding each other the kills.
And normally when a team that is behind gets a Baron buff, it puts a big pause on the game.
Yeah.
Because a team doesn't want to give up all their kill bounties to a team who is much stronger in team fights that have Baron. But in this case, because the goal lead is still huge, maybe not.
Kenny Yu gets a good attack on the air there, but it might have been a waste of the abilities. He gets a flash from Loctran out here. They're going very hard for the 3, waiting for the team to come in. But where's SGD? SGD to collapse on this. The entire team is 10 seconds off, and they lose a member.
But they get 2 in
2.
return. Alliance was soloed over on the other side, or at least 2-man. We'll get a look at that later. This fight continues. Fang Shen, Fearless Man.
Such a chaotic fight. SGD finding a way for them to get ahead in this one. The power play is a bit in their favor now with 2 being down, but it looks like with Harrimer up front, they can do any more.
The beginnings of a comeback.
Yep.
It just happened. Well, I guess the beginning of the comeback is the Baron. But this is what happened over on the other side. Bastion SJ totally outplays Alliance, gets the wall stun. Renekton comes in for the style points. I don't actually think he got an assist there, but he tried to help.
It's the effort.
Bonus points there. It's the thought that counts, I've heard.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
2 random
But really,
wins.
big moves there. SGG
Yeah.
closed the gold lead a little bit more, 7,500. Didn't lose any Nexus turrets. Got a 500 gold shutdown onto Best in SJ. And have completed some very pivotal armor items on their tanks. Randwin's on both Nocturne and Jakiro for the full attack damage composition on blue caster minions. And despite the ability for someone to get a Black Cleaver, which has just happened on Evertan, it is hard for him to get shred on enough people to make that really matter too much. He'll be able to shred his initial target, but it won't help the team as much as someone like a Wukong getting a Black Cleaver.
The wards are going down for blue caster minions as they make their way into the jungle. Just trying to play completely on the homestead of Sergio's dream here. Alliance is going to go ahead and pick themselves up a dragon. Alliance himself a dragon. He's not a team. 28 minutes into this one. SGD is looking at that one on their side, or thinking about it at least. They can't see it, and they're wondering, can we do it again? This is getting a little troublesome here.
Yeah,
we
big
have
number,
Baron, and they didn't do much with it.
Big number that matters is the 6 turrets to 0.
Yeah.
There wasn't much they could do, even with the Baron, because they were down a whole bunch of gold. They got good things. They stopped the bleeding, and they killed the Lions, which both gave them pretty high amounts of gold. And they got the Baron in the first place. Like, that was an accomplishment in itself. Don't press your luck. You got a Baron while you're down. They managed to get their inhibitor to respawn as well. They kind of stalled it out long enough. They need a couple more Baron miracles to still come back. I think one more, they would still lose. They need 2 more Baron miracles to come back in this one.
That means you can start, kind of quantifying the game in time, because Baron's going to take 7 minutes to spawn, so we got quite a bit of time here. The SGD.
If we would see it come back.
Yeah, if. Right.
Could be over any minute on the other side.
Very quickly indeed with 11 to 8, but that 11 to 8, like you said, doesn't show the gold that's been accrued from the 6 turrets on the map. There's still more gold to be had there as well. Blue caster minions is not done. Putting their vision on this top inhibitor that just respawned. Looks like they're going to try to take it down again and force a fight for Sergio's dream.
Blitzcrank is going to be near this inhibitor and look for a hook. If they get the right hook, they'll go in. They're pushing him off with the culling as well, wanting a safe initiation.
Becomes a lot harder of a fight. No, they go in. They're going to be going right down onto Evertan. They want to shut down Zed immediately. Looks like he's got himself out in a good situation, but only for so long. Great kill coming in by Jakiro, and they're going to continue this fight. BCM in a very bad spot here. Kenny Yu can't help destroy the team once the assassins are put out the fight. Oh, the side grab, the ignite going on to Feng Shen. They get him down, and that's Kenny Yu. There's a reset for him, but Kenny get back in with the team.
He is so close to getting in range, and at the end of the day, it's actually a 2 for 2. So a fantastic fight by Sergio's dream. So close to turning in both directions. Everybody flashing right after that one. That was a hell of a defense by Sergio's dream. They do save the inhibitor as well.
Whew. They did not hesitate to go in on that whatsoever. I was about to pose the fact that it might be hard for these guys to get.
It's because of the Leona, it was so clean. It hit 3 of them. Then there was the fear that the Zed getting shred on almost everyone with that Black Cleaver was going to be enough, but because Kenny was low as well, they couldn't withstand in the fight. If they would have gotten a little bit more damage off, watch how low Alliance gets everyone with that next Lucian shot. They're all about to die at that point. Oh man, that fight was close. It could have been an ace in either direction very easily.
And that's 30 seconds on Baron Jat. There's a lot for these teams to be looking at right now. A very good hold on the inhibitor, as you said. In the bottom lane, we're 30 minutes in, and BCM tries for their first attempt at what could have been the end of the game.
Well, I did say it was 2 Baron.
It was,
but that was almost a straight-up team fight. So, one more Baron steal from SGG, and they might have it. Kenny walking to a bad place. He's feared.
Oh, he tries to get a ward down for anything that could happen after this, but it looks like the team's there to react, actually. Jakiro getting good damage down onto him. Dominus isn't there to be used. Longtran's now in a bad spot. RC Slash does not want this fight. Feng Shen thinks he can help with Solar Flare. Harimer's going off on his own here, and Longtran, they get the Power Fist. A few shots from Evertan. There's the grab, and the God Fist coming in. Feng Shen's trying to run. Whoa, Best in SJ gets on the wrong side of the path, and it looks like Harimer's got him again. No, it's all up to the Blade of the Rune King. And Alliance coming in with the kill, now 6-1-6.
Yeah, that was an attempt at making a catch, but they didn't have damage. That was 2 tanks waiting in a brush. You're not going to kill someone. That's not the pick composition they needed to happen in there. Yeah, check out that replay. Sure, they got a great jump on him, but Kenny didn't even bother jumping away. He's like, guys, I got backup. Now you have to run. This fight led to the Baron, obviously, and then everyone just mobbed in. Blitzcrank Hook's always bringing them back. Arxie Slash had to burn everything to try and help, but it's because, I mean, look where Vayne is on the minimap. This is a completely off-man fight. SGD needs to have more people in a fight, especially when they're behind, if they want to come back into this one. The chase was just relentless. You could really just see if Best in SJ is not positioned perfectly in a fight, Alliance will absolutely murder him. Game is back in control for Blue Caster Minions.
Very well played. 58,000 to 45,000 now. Ever so slowly. They keep having these chaotic fights. Put us on the edge of our seats and then kind of hold back. The inhibitor wasn't grabbed after that. Both teams kind of brought each other and whittled each other down to nothing there. You can't do much after that.
Got double black cleavers now.
Yeah.
So the triple AD composition.
The triple Last Whispers.
Got to penetrate the armor.
What armor? That's what they're saying. Kevin roaming around. Baron buff, obviously, on to BCM. They're going to have that. I believe another 3 minutes.
They're trying to get a pick right here. They would have to get Best in SJ before anyone else. That's a dangerous place to stand. They realize it. This is going to be the most difficult hold of the game for them. Baron buff clean on 5 of them. They might need to give up this inhibitor, but I would not be too surprised if they tried an initiation. They would need a very good Leona ultimate to make that work. Yeah, they give it up.
Kevin flexing his muscles, the rest of the team. They have so much power they can brute force down the inhibitor. Like you said, SGD giving it up and looking for an opportunity now. Figuring out where they can get into the defense and very strong offense right now, Blue Caster Minions.
This will be the turret where they have to fight. Whoa. And especially since they got Alliance low. Maybe a Talisman in the initiation if they stick around without him healing up. Outside of that, though, Blue Caster Minions is going to use that Baron to keep poking him out.
They don't even have a team that can really poke, but they're getting this poke damage in. They're walking up, taking turret shots, and getting everything they want. Do you think there would be a body slam, cast initiation to come out, the solar flare to hit up quick?
They're so far behind.
Bullied around. Yeah.
If they don't make it perfect, the game is over. However, if the turret keeps taking damage like this, game is over as well. They might just have to wait for game 3.
It's one or the other, chat. It looks like they're going to let this one fall. There's the initiation. Back onto Alliance. He gets out of the horrible, unspeakable horror. And it looks like they keep going for the fight. Locktran's going to go down. That's 2. Kenny, you coming up big. Woo! Back to the backside. And he gets down. Big Shed. The quadra kill coming in for Kha'Zix. And it's going to be a beautiful finish by BCM.
It looked like 4. It only called out for 3, but it doesn't matter. They're up 21 kills to 20. I think they end the game right here.
It's going to be enough. Triple or quadra. The Nexus turrets are going to fall after. The numbers aren't going to continue to matter because the Nexus falling means game over. We're going to a game 3 for the North American Collegiate Championships.
Yeah, these guys play fast so far. 32 minutes in the first game, 34 minutes in the second game. We know it is now a best of 3. So what does that mean? Blue Caster Minions lost their first game against a very strong foe in the semifinals. Close second game and a steamroll in the third. Could we see a similar pattern? That was a bit of a steamroll. It could still go more so in one direction if there's not a little bit of a regroup by Sergio's Dream.
Blue Caster Minions reminds me of that team that you're playing so long and your teammate gets a red card, but then you play even better when you're a man down. It's just that mentality of we got to make it happen now.
Yeah.
We have that mark against us, no more can be had. Sometimes you need that push.
Well, that's the battle of best of 3s. Exactly. You know if your back is completely against the wall, what do you bring out? They force the Kha'Zix. They go back to Blitzcrank. I loved the Blitzcrank pick. Just the fact that they had the Blitzcrank made Sergio's Dream play so passive at level 1. It enabled the red buff steal. It enabled the kill on a Nocturne, which enabled their lane pushing and aggression early on. It was because they had the thought of, it's all on the table. What do you want to play? If you're going to be knocked out of the tournament. I want to play my best champion, normally. There's all these theories about, you got to counterpick, you got to make a good team composition, but you have to play well. And sometimes that's what matters most.
And the strength with winning with champions like Blitzcrank, bringing out the Kha'Zix now, this is a consideration that SGD has to take in their next game. Do they want to face that Blitzcrank? But then what else do they give up by banning that? Being unpredictable and not showing consistency sometimes helps. Playing consistent helps, but showing the same thing all the time just gives your opponent an upper hand.
So we're gonna swap back.
Yes.
Right. So it's going to be blue side again. Blue side's won both games. Honestly, with the way the picks and bans have been going, something is going to get through. and they're going to have to then beat up that thing, whether it's a Kassadin, whether it's the Kazakhs, whether it's the Elise Jungle. Those things are very important in this series because, especially in the collegiate scene here, where we have smaller champion pools for a lot of these guys, and counterpicking is not necessarily as effective, those key champions are even more important.
All right, guys, we've got to take a quick break, but when we return, it's time for the third and final game in tonight's championship bout between Sergio's Dream and the Blue Castor Minions. The 2014 North American Collegiate Championship will be decided right after this.